Hey, what's going on, everybody? Servo here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I finally got around to actually taking a look at the trailer for the upcoming DLC. And I gotta say, there's a lot of things I noticed that were just a little unusual. Some things that I thought was tied to other parts of Disney lore, or just where, Gameloft probably pulled some inspiration to some little bits I've seen from, tied in with the Rift in Time. And I just want to share all these thoughts with you. So I did break it down. I did lots of Googling. I did lots of research, and I'll show you what I have figured out. Let's jump right into it. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. We are literally so close to 50,000 subscribers, which is insane. Help me out. And let's get started. So it starts out over here in the bind. It's going to be the first location that we actually land in. We actually come over here on this little flying contraption. And this whole biome is definitely based around autumn vibes. We got books. The sky is going to be beautiful. And we can actually see that Ever After is actually over here on the left side. So we kind of know the direction. Like, this is going to be Maleficent side over here. And then Mythopia is going to be over on this right side. So it's definitely going to be split into 3 parts, kind of like that. And so I'm really excited for this. And you actually see a little bit further on when we get into it that you will see the difference where we take a door to the left or we take a door to the right. Now, if you guys remember from the trailer that they had first showed off the teaser, right here, this is actually the front of it. So we can see that we have this well right here, and that is part of the trailer. So at first we kind of thought maybe this section was further from the main palace, the main giant building here, but that is not the case. You go up these stairs and then you have this little area right here, and then this section right here is where we saw that a beast glass window frame. So it's really nice to get a different angle from everything that we've seen so far. So we do have a nice looks like another beach. I imagine we're going to do a lot of fishing over here and here. There's going to be lots of ripples throughout here, and then it looks like we're going to have a pretty large area on this side to actually decorate with. This area looks a little bit smaller, but it looks like we have some space to decorate. Then we're going to go up, and then giant building, and then on the other side, I guess, is the other biomes. If that's the case, this looks kind of small. But yeah, let's just keep pushing through the trailer and see what else we can find. All right, so this right here is very interesting. My mind immediately during the showcase went to Epic Mickey, with these little blotches of ink everywhere. That's what they look like to me. And it's really cool, Gameloft always gives us a new, a new something. We had Night Thorns on the first one, and then we had Splinters of Fate, we had Swirling Sands, those kind of things. And then it looks like here, we have ink everywhere, which is really nice. You're going to see Merida tied up in that in just a little bit. But we also have our first little look at the new dragon. So these little dragons right here are definitely pulling some inspiration from Maleficent's dragon form, just in a more a cutesy baby form of them. So they definitely look like they're harmless. They're just super adorable. And I can't wait to get my hands on these, taming them. I'm really curious, what do you guys think that we're going to have to use to actually feed and tame these? Now, something that's interesting is over here, we see a bunch of just broken walls, a bunch of rubble, a castle was already standing here. And then whatever happened, I guess when Maleficent and Hades came together and just destroyed the place, this is what we're left with. So I tried to think what movie or film has this kind of castle, this kind of stonework. And I remember Steven from the entire showcase mentioned a little bit about how they try to pull some elements from Scotland and have some Scottish lore in here. And so what other film really has, revolving around Scotland other than Brave? So I did a little research. I completely forgot the name of Merida's home, but this is definitely Castle Dunbrook. I gotta say, I think it fits, and I think that's really nice that they kind of tied in those elements. And I think this is where Merida is going to find herself at home. Now, if you progress a little bit in the trailer, you're going to see that we actually find Merida. I'm assuming this is where we find her. Over here, she's completely encased in the ink, again, referring back to the whole Epic Mickey thing. And it looks like she's over here in the bind. So I think Merida is going to be the first character that we actually stumble across. We're going to talk to her. We're going to find a way to remove all of this. And then we're going to progress with the story throughout the bind. And then eventually, I think we're going to take a turn and go over into Ever After. So that's really exciting. Let's keep progressing and see what else that we can find. So then we, of course, have the book right here. This was the thing that kind of set everybody into a spiral, trying to, dig through the internet, dig through thousands of Disney films. What is this book referencing to? And unfortunately, there's not really a direct reference for the Lore Keeper here, which is the name of the book. They kind of just pulled together a classic Disney story. That's mainly how most Disney films start off, with a book. Sometimes it could be like Pinocchio. I remember when they first showed off this Lore Keeper, that was where my mind immediately went to. I was like, well, it could be the spell book from the Evil Queen, or it could be the little red book with like the red ribbon from Pinocchio. But I think it's just a general book, and I thought that this was a really cool that they brought us back to like Disney classics for this DLC, and that's one reason I'm super excited for. So we do know a bunch of these pages get lost. They turned into these little creatures over here, these little origamis, and we have to find them. So I don't know, it seems like a really exciting update so far. Now as we progress, you see another shot of the beautiful bind. You can actually see your first look at like the owl creature down here on the bottom. And then over here to the left, you can see that there's going to be another tree with another sort of, it could be a nut, could be a fruit. We just don't know yet. And then you can see some of the other foliage here. So owls are definitely over on this side. And then we have Flynn over here, also on the Ever After side. You only see him for a little bit, doing the smolder, of course. We got to trim those eyebrows. And then we get our first little look at this teapot. Now, I don't think this is just any teapot. I knew that this was obviously Alice in Wonderland, right? Like everyone thought it was. So it's like researching all the teapots, going back to Alice in Wonderland, like the original animated film. And it definitely is in reference to a actual teapot in the movie. There's actually a part where the Mad Hatter is pouring Alice some tea. So I thought that was really nice that they kind of like took something out of that film and enlarged it and turned it into an environmental piece. We then get to see Merida again and like an up close shot of like what she actually looks like over here. Her character model looks pretty good. Her dress looks really good. I'm really hoping they don't like put her dress in the shop for real money. I so badly wish whenever we got these characters and we complete their level 10 quests, I really wish we'd still get a level 10 friendship reward, but you would also just unlock their outfit instead of throwing it in premium shop. So that would be very huge for me. Let's see. And then we get some more of Mythopia. And then, of course, this is where they talk about how Maleficent, Hades come to this beautiful place and pretty much just cause havoc. We also see our first look at Mythopia, like the main Mount Olympus, right? Like, so I don't know how much we're actually going to get to interact with Mount Olympus, or if it's just going to be a background piece. I'm really hoping we can actually decorate around there, but I don't have high hopes. So then these two are just being crafty, doing their thing, destroying the world, and then tearing up the pages in the book. And it brings us to a shot with our character, pretty much what we're going to bring to the game. So as you see, we have a biome right here, and there is the golden gates leading up to Mount Olympus. So this is why I say I don't think we're going to get to interact or even walk up the path beyond the golden gates. I think once we get to the golden gates, that is going to be a thing where it just teleports us automatically to the top, which is a shame. It's going to be a nice background piece to do a dream snap and stuff if you can actually fit it in the shot. We get a look at Chez Remy, the new design. We also have some other buildings here. We have lots of characters because we're going to be able to bring them over if we want. We have a new little house over on this side. Merida, of course. Oh my gosh. What do you guys think the chances are we actually get her hair, though? I mean, I bet that took a lot of time to actually design and animate her hair because they did a great job, and I really wish we could get it for our character. So then we get our first look at the new royal tools. So we're going to be able to catch those little sprites that are floating around. And this is that scene where I told you where you take a left, you go over to Ever After. You take a right, you go to Mythopia. So we're going to go from the bind and then go left or right. It doesn't look like they're blocked at all. I don't think we're going to have to unlock it. It kind of seems like we may be able to just, as soon as we get in here and progress the story, we get to go ahead and go straight into it. They could block it off and we have to have a new requirement, whether it's not going to be mist, but you know, the equivalent of mist. So maybe we're gonna have to grind up like 10,000 to unlock this door, maybe some more to go this side, and then they could block off the biomes going inside as well. I kind of liked grinding up a new version of Dreamlight or Mist, so if they did another thing like that, I would be very hyped for it. And then we get to see that the snippets are, I mean, they're so cute, and we actually get to capture them. So here's an interesting thing. We obviously have seen this with Sorcerer Mickey. I'm hoping Sorcerer Mickey is coming to the game as a dream style. And they just keep going back to the whole Fantasia vibe, like the whole Fantasia theme. And we see that a lot throughout this trailer, some of the other trailers. So I think there's going to be some pretty heavy references to that. Now, here's what's interesting. This area right here is something I am personally really hyped for. So this is the trials. And as you see, we get a suit of armor. There's actually 3 of them here. And this one is holding like a flag or a banner. We have a shield over here. And then I don't know if these are just supposed to be, I mean, they look the same. This one on the far left and far right look the same. But this has to be like the final reward for completing this, I feel like. So we don't know too much about this other than we are going to be going through something called the trials, which is definitely going to be something a little more challenging, I think. And the only thing I really reference the underground from is I think this is going to take place in Maleficent's house, like the castle, which we'll get to in just a moment. So her castle is actually floating up in the air. Let's go ahead and skip to that real quick. So here is her castle, and you can see that it's actually floating all the way to the top with a beanstalk, which is very interesting to me. Now, the thing about her castle being all the way up here is just the fact that I think they're tying it into some other references with Disney as well. One of them that really stands out to me is Mickey and the Beanstalk. There's also another like musical film called Fun and Fancy Free with Mickey, and also has Jiminy Cricket in it. And this is one of those things you guys are gonna have to research because it's been a long time ago, way back in the day. I didn't even know about it, had to do some research of pretty much all of the Beanstalks. If you just type in Beanstalk and Disney on Google, it'll pop up those films and also some tie-ins to it. So I think that's what they could be referencing here. So it's really interesting to me that they did it this way, and I'm kind of hyped for it. The way this bottom part just unravels itself is definitely something we're going to have to unlock through the main story. You can also tell that with Flynn being here, Merida. And so I think we're just going to enter here and then pretty much teleport up there. And that's where Maleficent's going to be. I don't know if Aurora's going to be up there or not. She could be trapped up inside there. But I do think that the trials are going to take place, you know, in the depths below the castle. And it definitely makes sense that we would be going to the depths of Maleficent's castle and getting this suit of armor. I mean, that's where Prince Philip was in the film. And honestly, I see some sort of inspiration with the shield and then what we're getting as an exclusive reward for this activity. I see the whole tie-ins, and I feel like that's something that you guys could think about, brainstorm, let us know in the comments. But the trials is one thing that I'm just super excited for. We then get to see our character in one of the owls. We have Hades' house over on this side, and this shot right here is just really beautiful to me. It's really nice to have all these extra characters, but the owls are just too cute. I can't wait to get all the companions. We also get to see this little shot with Hades over here, massive statue. Now, one thing I noticed was our characters were walking across the bridge, but in another trailer, that section of the bridge was gone. So we are going to have to progress through the quest line to actually go ahead and like unlock that area. And this looks like a little cutscene as well. So there's some ink on this side. We're definitely going to have to do something over here. I'm just not so sure what it's going to be yet. Maybe that's where we summon Hades. Maybe we're going to interact over here and then boom, Hades is going to pop out and then just try and annoy us. And then, of course, here's the beanstalk unraveling. We're going to have to do something to get up to Maleficent's castle. And then Aurora. Oh, I can't wait. Now, this final scene here, the cover art, there's a little bit of lore bits. You know, you see Mount Olympus over here, the massive statue of Hades. And then over here on this side, you see Maleficent's castle. You could just tell it's Maleficent because it also has the other island over on the right side with the bridge that's between them. We have the Mad Hatter / Alice in Wonderland area. And then we have this tree, which is so interesting to me because they kind of place this like the main POI over here is Maleficent's castle. And the main one over here is Mount Olympus. So then we get the statue of Hades. So what is the equivalent of that for Maleficent? We have this tree, which looks like the giant tree from Animal Kingdom for the Disney parks without the leaves. And then down here looks like where we can decorate. And you also have this little like gazebo area. And then over here is where we can place our house, decorate, and also has the castle walls. So something to think about. But one thing that this trailer definitely did open up was it kind of explaining what direction each of these biomes go and how we interact with them. So like I said, you're gonna arrive here. We're gonna have like a beachfront area, which is really nice. It looks like we're only gonna have one area that's gonna have like a total beach, and the rest might be some small ponds. But we're gonna progress here, and then you can go over here to Hades side or go here to Maleficent side, and then it kind of shows the layering of exploring. So we're going to have this main area where we're going to decorate stuff, then move on to some more areas you can probably still decorate, but it kind of leads you to the main storyline, and we're going to go up here. So we also have this big area, which is going to be Alice in Wonderland area, and I don't think that's going to take up the entire area. It's definitely going to give us like Brave elements on this side, Alice in Wonderland on this, and then something else over here. So it could be a biome broken up into 3 sections, kind of like a Rift in Time does. And then they could do the same thing on this side. So that's just some of the things I noticed from the trailer. I wanted to really break this down. We also have the major trailer, like the showcase for Eternity Isle. I would like to break that down as well, but I figured this would be a really great place to start first. If you guys noticed anything at all, please be sure to let us know in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear all of your thoughts down below, and you could probably catch something that I didn't. There's just so many little tidbits that Gameloft likes to add, and it's crazy because one thing that's great about this game is like I've known some Disney stuff, but I didn't know how deep Disney went, like how deep the lore went. And the great thing about Gameloft, they pull so much stuff from multiple Disney parks, movies, films, shorts. I mean, there's just so much going on with it, and I'm really happy that I'm learning more about Disney every update. And it's just expanding all of our Disney knowledge, which is really amazing. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you all have a really wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.